right, guys, as you can see, it's another beautiful day here at Millbrook Exchange Park, and we have a lot to go over. Today is April 4th, and Niantic did just release a bunch of information. It's very important, but the other thing I'm here for, as you can see on screen here, chimchar. Yes, this is a chimchar nest, and seeing as how more than likely he will have a community day very soon, probably within the next 8 months, I just wanted to go out and go, you know what, let's get a bunch of candy for him. I know Bagon's coming up and I'm trying to save those pineapple berries, but when it comes to Blaziken and Infernape, they're just two of my favorite fire types. No offense to the other ones, but I just kind of like the fighting fire a little bit better for some reason. But anyway, as you can see, this is a chimchar nest. We're going to walk down to one of my favorite shelters here because there's a scyther nearby and it's still the bug event, and wouldn't be great to just get it on video once, getting the shiny for an event. I've actually gotten the shiny for the event twice before, but I've never got it on film. So we're going to walk down to the shelter. Hopefully there will be a beautiful scyther waiting for us when we get there. If not, we will go over the two things I want to go over today. First things first, Niantic released a photo to go along with this release, and there's some very important things in this photo. I'm going to try and be able to hopefully put it on screen for you guys so you can see what's going on. Okay, let's check the scyther first. I know that's probably what that is. No, it's another chimchar. Solid. Yeah. If it's in the 490 area, ooh, 546. Interesting. So I don't know if you guys have been doing this too, but because of the PvP in the Great League, I've started to memorize what CPs I need in order for things to happen. But I've also started to do crazy, ridiculous math where I end up trading about half of the Pokemon I have with one of my friends to try and get worse IVs, which I never thought, for a person who was after specific IVs, to be able to do that. Oh, he despawned, really? All right, come on, please still be there. Anyway, I'm rambling. Let's get back to the point. If the scyther shows up, that's fantastic. If not, we'll go over the news. That's what we want to talk about anyway. One. Okay, is this the scyther? Nope, it's the Swablu. Alright, so in the news section, you'll go there. You see the image. Hopefully I can put it on screen. The events for 2019. So obviously last year they had a great year. Chicago Go Fest, they had 4 Safari Zones, or the summer events, depending on how you look at it. And then they had all the community days. Scyther's still here. Alright guys, shiny check. So upsetting. They had a lot of events last year. They had those 4 Safari Zones, and they had all of the 12 community days, as well as that cumulative community day that kind of included all of the communities we had to a certain point, which is really cool. And if they do that again, I would be really excited about it. I didn't get to participate in every single community day. I'm sure you guys didn't either, but I did get to participate in most of them. So the important part is what's in the image, and as soon as I'm done catching the scyther, or he can run away naturally. Well, oh, 10k Riolu. It's the only one I need for Great League right now. Riolu. Mareep. Yeah, that's fun. Oh, second try. I think I might have like 3 here. Come on. One time. Feebas. Maybe they'll do a Riolu day like Feebas. That would be amazing to me. Alright. Okay, so I've got 4 more 10Ks to hatch. Alright, so back to the news. This year will be even bigger, and you will need even more sunscreen. Alright, for anybody who has seen that song or knows what I'm talking about, I have one piece of advice for you: sunscreen. But they did announce the 3 events, not exactly all of them, but GoFest will be in June this year, which will be kind of interesting, in Chicago, of course. There will be another Europe version of GoFest in Dortmund, like they had the Safari Zone. And then they're going to announce one in the Asia Pacific area. Now, every one of my friends that's from Australia is ecstatic because it doesn't eliminate them. I would still bet on this being in Japan somewhere just because of the player base that's there. But obviously they will come up with a bunch of different opportunities, and you never know. Between the safari zones that they're going to have in the second half of 2019, they're probably going to hit Australia, but we will see. I would hope for. A lot of people want Australia to get one. But anyway, the important part is if you look at the image at the top there, one, you got a new version of Gen 4 Pokemon. So the hippo, the camo, what I call the camo hippo there in the center, is probably the most interesting thing that I think is there, because it means we'll get a new wave of Gen 4 Pokemon, which just gives you an opportunity to get more Pokemon. The other thing that I think is interesting is last year during GoFest, they took a regional exclusive, Torkoal, and brought him to GoFest. So people who didn't have to travel all the way across the world, they only had to travel across their country to get a regional exclusive. And if you look up there, tiny, tiny, tiny in that tree in the top left, Pachirisu. And I have a strong feeling that last year they had themed zones, and one of them was a fiery volcano. I'm imagining they're going to have the North Pole or the Arctic Circle because Pachirisu does seem to be featured there. Obviously, there's some ghost types. Ralts would be really cool, especially if they released it shiny. Last year, Plusle and Minun were on, and they aren't shiny, so that would be really cool. We already have Mamoswine and Piloswine that are shiny, and we already have Ghastly that's shiny. If it ends up being the Horsey and Seadra and Kingdra line, that wouldn't be terrible, but I know people would much rather have the Ralts. And then obviously Turtwig probably won't, because he's a starter and will probably get a community day, which is the second thing that I want to talk about today. At the bottom here, it lists the community days. Now, we do have Bag On Day coming up, and that's going to be fantastic. Everybody can finally get a Salamence, or maybe even a shiny Salamence. But you will look at it, we've got April's already known. Now we know May, June, July, and August. So May 19th, June 8th, July 21st, and August 3rd. So if they keep with the trend, and we have Bag On here in April, then in May we'll probably get the Fire Starter, Torchic, which would be awesome. Then we go to June 8th, which is not even a lot of turnaround time for a community day. You'll notice that they usually put about 3 or 4 weeks between each community day. There is not that many days between May 19th and June 8th. That is only like 19 days. That's like 3 weeks. That's tough. That's cutting it close. Then from June 8th to July 21st, that's a big amount of time. So I'm not sure what. I know they have a bunch of events going on, and that could be why they're spaced out as much. And then between July and 21st and August 3rd, there's like no time there. That's less than 2 weeks. That's crazy. But once again, there are events going on, and if we continue the trend, we'll go Torchic, maybe Ralts. I know a lot of people would really love that. Then we would go to Mudkip in July. 4th of July, I'm not sure. The whole world doesn't celebrate 4th of July, so I don't think that they'll do something specific like that. And then, of course, August 3rd, if we keep that trend, it could end up being Slack Off, which I know a lot of people will be super upset about, but other people who like to defend gyms will really like it. So I kind of am in between. I'd rather have just an interesting Pokemon. And then that leads me to my last thing. If Pachirisu is there and new versions of Gen 4, what's going to be the main objective for GoFest? And I think with each of these GoFests, there's an opportunity for a new mythical. And a lot of people are talking about Jirachi, but I have another thought. And I think it would be really interesting. I don't know how they're going to do it, or if they're going to do it. But we will get into that here in just 1 second. All right, so when it comes to what I think is going to happen for GoFest, they are going to finish releasing all of Gen 4. And with that, we will then have to get the Gen 4 legendaries. And since there are 3 Go Fests, one in the US, one in Europe, and one in Asia, I feel like the 3 legendary Gen 4 Psychic Pokemon are going to become the research for each of those events. Now hear me out. A lot of people think that they're going to do Jirachi. I think Jirachi is just going to drop in a research breakthrough, maybe even its own event, before we even get to Go Fest. It might just be like an Easter egg, if you will. But here's my thought. So with Uxie, Mesprit, and Azelf, or the 3 Gen 4 legendaries outside of the Dialga, Palkia, Heatran, and Cresselia, that's a 3 group. Some people think Darkrai. I think they're going to save that for Halloween. My bet is those 3 legendaries are the 3 Go Fest releases. And so what happens is anybody that goes to the event will have the opportunity to do a research tasks and a research just like Celebi in order to get one. Then if the whole world or whatever hits the global challenge, they will then release it as the legendary Pokemon for that time frame. And so I don't have any specifics on which one I think will be for each area. The only one I kind of really like the idea of is if Mesprit was for the US, just because he has the highest CP option. But basically what I would think they would do is they would let one out during Chicago Go Fest in June, and then they would go, okay, everybody's excited because they now think at the next Go Fest we'll release Azelf or Uxie, however you want to say that, and they'll want to go to those Go Fests even more. So that's my thought. You guys can kind of put it down in the comments. I think it would be a really interesting way to release those legendaries. Okay, everybody who went to Go Fest has an opportunity to catch one, and now they're in tier 5 raids. Everybody else in the world can go and get them, and they will also have the opportunity, if they want, later, once he's done, once the first one's done in 5 tier raids, there'll be then a research option for all of the rural players so that they can go out and also attain that, because not everybody can go out and get with 12 people in raid. So I think that would be a very smart way for Niantic to handle it. I don't know if that's what they'll do, but then that would be really cool, because then you would have those 3 weeks to go out and do those raids. If you didn't get an opportunity to do those raids, then it would become research. Then at the next event, they would release the next legendary 4 psychic Pokemon, whether or not whichever one it is. And then you would have another 3 weeks to catch it. And then at the Asia event, they would release the 3rd one. And if we hit global goals during all 3 events, then all 3 would be out and available for that last month. Or they could keep it solo until the research came out, which I think, I don't work for Niantic, I think that would just be the best way to help all the players get it. 1, if you want to go to Go Fest, you have an automatic ticket to have at least 1. 2, if you don't get to go to Go Fest, we will release it in raids. And 3, if you don't have the opportunity to get it in raids or go to Go Fest, you can still do research breakthrough and research task to knock it out to at least get 1, so you can get that Pokemon Dex entry. That's my thought. 3 events, 3 opportunities, mythicals, legendaries. Who knows what they'll actually do? That's my prediction. I think it's very exciting, the things that we're finding out. Community Day, awesome to know way in ahead in advance. That way you can go ahead and take a day off. I wish Niantic had done this in the past. Released by quarter all of the different community days. Let me know what you guys think. I'm gonna go farm up the rest of these Chimchars and get ready for Chimchar Day in November. I'm not joking. But just go out, enjoy the day. Go in the comments of the doobly-doo or whatever you want to say. Let me know, what Pokemon do you think will be the event Pokemon for Go Fest? I'm betting on Mesprit. I don't think, that'd be crazy, but I'm betting on it. Jirachi is the common one that everybody's talking about. It's not going to be Jirachi. Jirachi's going to drop for Easter. It'll be crazy. Alright guys, this is it for JP Raleigh and another episode of Pokemon Go. As always, catch everything.